Hey guys, so it's Angie with a 2-week update. So I have my notes from week 2. To recap, on November 4th, I had a hysterectomy due to post-ablation syndrome. And if you look on my playlist for my hysterectomy story, that was my first video where I explained. So anyway, I have had a slight complication, which I'll tell you about in case you have this also. And so hopefully I'll have a better update after my 6-week appointment. But so basically, I went through my 2nd week of recovery, and yesterday I went to my 2-week follow-up appointment with my gynecologist. So in my notes for my 2nd week, the 2nd week I didn't have any pain. What I was experiencing though was my discharge got heavier, and I wasn't really expecting that. The first week it was virtually, I could just use a panty liner. In the 2nd week, I started having to use a pad. It did not get heavy like a period. It was more like when you get to like the very last day, and you kind of just have like a pink or brown kind of discharge. It was like that. But then on November 15th, I started having like a little bit of bright red bleeding, and that concerned me. And so I did a little bit of what, when you go online and you Google something, how you can get so many different answers, and the best answer really is straight from your doctor. But I knew I had a doctor appointment coming up on the 19th. So I just Googled, what's a normal amount of bleeding? And I came across an image that I cannot get out of my head. And I told my doctor about it too, of vaginal cuff dehiscence. And that's like where the cuff comes apart. And what the cuff is when you get your uterus and your cervix removed, they sew the top part of your vagina, and that's called a vaginal cuff. And in very rare instances, it comes undone. And if it gets really bad, like the worst case scenario is the intestines come out. And the picture, and I'm not trying to scare you guys, I'm so sorry, but the picture I saw was a woman that happened to. And I wish I would have never seen that picture because it really scared me. That is not what I'm dealing with. Like I said, that's a very rare instance, but you just get scared when you see stuff like that. And I share it because I'm thinking if one of you guys if you're going to have a hysterectomy, or if you just had one and you're out looking for a video to just try to find out what's normal, what's not, maybe I can help a little bit. But like the bright red blood I was having, it was just like dots. It wasn't a lot. Like if I would go to wipe after I went to the bathroom, it would come out on the toilet paper, and then I would see like a little bit on the pad, but most everything was just brown. But also from looking around, I kept seeing things that said getting a little bit heavier bleeding in the 2nd week is normal because your stitches are starting to dissolve, and that can kind of cause a little bit more bleeding. So, because there's a lot more that comes with that vaginal cuff dehiscence, and I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly. I hope I am. Like severe pain is one of the things, and I'm not having any of that. So, and also I started reading a few of the case studies and stuff, and it looked to me like at least the case studies I read, the women that were experiencing that were doing things that really they don't recommend, like having sex before you're okayed by your doctor, or, starting, because like me, I had laparoscopic surgery, and overall I'm feeling pretty good. I do get tired still really quickly, but some days I feel like, oh, I could get up and vacuum, or I could start cleaning house or doing laundry or something like that. I don't do it because my doctor said don't do it, and I'm listening to her. But some of these women did do that, and I get it, because I'm lucky. I have a husband that is helping me around the house, and I don't have small children. And there's women that go through things like this, and they have small kids, or they don't have anybody to help them, and they feel like they can't take the time they need. So I don't want to say, oh, it's those women's fault that happened to them, because I don't believe that at all. But anyway, all the other risk factors, all the other signs, all that other stuff, none of it pointed to that happening to me. So that eased my fears, but I still wish I'd never seen that image. One thing I noticed on the 17th, and I don't know if this is related at all, and I forgot to ask my doctor about it because I was so focused on talking to her about the bleeding that I've been having, is I have cystic breast tissue, which a lot of women have, where I get lumps, like just off and on all the time throughout the month, and usually one or both of my breasts is always sore. And I noticed on the 17th when I was in the shower, that's always like the time that I'll do like a little breast exam, when you're all soapy and everything. I didn't feel any lumps at all. My breasts were soft, and it was like that. I can't remember the last time that happened. I mean, it's just, so I don't know if that is related to having my uterus and fallopian tubes removed. I don't know. I really don't know. I still have my ovaries. Maybe it's just a coincidence and I just noticed it because, having the surgery, but I figured I would point that out. On the 18th, the bleeding increased a little bit more. But no more red. I just had the red that one day, and it was pink and brown, and I had 2 times where I stood up and I felt something coming out. But it was, I would say, if I could have measured it, it was probably like a half a teaspoon worth of liquid. It still wasn't like a period. I still keep thinking every day, I was thinking, okay, is it going to slow down? And then also that I had these tiny little clots, like the size of a quinoa or a rice. Little tiny little clots. So, and then the following day, the day that I went to the doctor, it was slowed down again. Today is the 20th, and it's really super light again. Well, when I was talking to her, and also to let you know ahead of time, I do have some pictures, or a film actually, that I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you what time I'm going to put it in. So in case you are queasy and you don't want to see like pictures of internal, like a uterus and fallopian tubes and ovaries and that kind of thing, I'll let you know when it's going to start so that you can turn away or fast forward or whatever you need to do. But she did share that with me, and she allowed me to film it, so I'll tell you that. So yesterday I went to the doctor for my 2-week checkup. I told her about my concern I felt like my bleeding was a little bit heavier than what I was expecting. And so she said, well, let me do an exam. And she did a pelvic exam. And what that consisted of was kind of like when you go get a pap smear. She used the speculum, and she looked at the site, like the back of my vagina. And she said, there is a little bit of active bleeding going on. And so she said that it's just healing a little bit slower. She didn't think there was anything to worry about. She also palpitated it, pressed on it, like for us women, one of the things that they do when they're doing a pelvic exam is, they lube up their fingers and they stick them in your vagina and kind of feel around. And usually they're also feeling our ovaries and stuff. So, but she did that. That I was like kind of scared of, because I thought, oh my God, it's gonna hurt, or she's gonna rip my stitches or something like that, because it felt like she was really pushing, but it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt at all. And I mean, it's still uncomfortable because you still got, somebody sticking their fingers up there, and I had that fear. But the reason she was doing that is because she wanted to make sure everything was intact, that there were no tears, no issues or anything that way. And so she said all of that felt solid, everything felt really good. One other thing I wanted to let you know, because it's something I wondered about, is some of the things that I had read before I had my hysterectomy is women were concerned that like the vagina would be shorter because of that cuff where they sew it up and everything, that maybe, wouldn't be as long as it was before they had all the cervix removed and everything. I always used to think that, the cervix hangs down into the vagina a certain amount, so when they take it out and they just sew that up, I would just think that it would still be about the same length because the cervix is gone now, so that's not there. But anyway, it did not feel any different to me. Now the true test will be when I actually, my husband and I are intimate, which will not be happening at the 6-week mark. I'll come back to that in a second. But to me, when she was doing the internal exam, it felt just like it did every other year that I've ever had that. I didn't feel like it was any shorter. I didn't feel like it felt any different. So that's my experience on that. Now back to the intimacy. She said, since I am healing a little bit slower, when I go back for my 6-week checkup, which will be the middle of December, and I will also give you an update at that time, she will not be approving me for sexual activity with my husband, which I told her, I said, after I had been reading about that vaginal cuff dehiscence and all that, I had told my husband about it, and he's like, maybe that'll be our New Year's present. Maybe we'll wait till the new year, We've been married a long time. We've been together for a really long time, since 1987. So, we've had two kids. We had to wait, the amount of time for sexual activity. We can wait this out, we got a lot of years ahead of us. So we kind of just made a joke about it. And so I kind of did that with the doctor too. I'm like, yeah, we said it's going to be our New Year's present. And so I'm all right with that. I want to be comfortable, because honestly, I'm afraid for that day. And I will tell you guys, I will share that, because that's something that I have been trying to find videos on and stuff, other women's experience, because I'm kind of scared. And I'll share, I will share my experience with you guys when that time comes. But anyway, I'll probably be having to wait at least 8 weeks. So I know I go back for the doctor at a 6-week mark, and I'm assuming, I'm not positive, that she'll probably have me come back again after that, because you have to get checked for them to make sure that it's safe for you to resume sexual activity. So she shared the pathology with me, and I'll tell you about that first, and then I will share the video clip I did where she was showing me pictures of the before and the after. So she said the pathology saw what she was expecting them to see due to the uterine, the post-ablation syndrome. There was scar tissue, there was fluid buildup, I did have a couple of fibroids. She said they weren't huge, but I did have some fibroids. There was congestion in my fallopian tubes. That's what was causing me so much pain. The location of that and everything. That's why I kept feeling like all my pain was like in my ovary, but it really wasn't in my ovary, it was in those tubes. So what she said to do, yeah, so basically, oh, and no cancer. There was no cancer found. It was just pretty much what she was expecting with, yes, I had post-ablation syndrome, and I also have a small cyst on an ovary, which she said is the same kind of cyst that women get throughout their cycles. You know, our whole lives, we will get cysts that come and go. It's just one of those kind that you don't have to worry about. But that one was on my right ovary. All my pain was on the left. That has been so nice not to have that constant pain that gets way worse at least once a month, every month. I feel so much better without dealing with that pain. So what she said to do since I'm healing a little bit slower, now my external incisions, those are healing great. And they are glue. I didn't have any stitches I had to have removed. It's just that internal incision up in the back of my vagina. So she said keep doing, no lifting, no house cleaning, no laundry, don't do any straining, any lifting, because all that can put pressure on that area. She said increase the protein in my diet because that will help the healing. So I got, we have, I'm going to do the normal stuff, like eat chicken and nuts and, things that are higher in protein. But I also did get, and this isn't an advertisement or anything, it's just me sharing what I got. This pure protein, these shakes, and I'm going to drink a couple of these a day. They're just 140 calories. They only have 1 gram of sugar, but they have 30 grams of protein. And Atkins makes one too, but they only have 15 grams. And there's a bunch of brands, but this brand was more cost effective for me. I got them through Amazon. They also sell them at like the grocery store, Target, Walmart, that kind of stuff. But anyway, this will at least get some protein this way, plus in food and stuff. So I'm gonna increase my protein. I also asked her, I forgot to ask her while I was in the office, so I sent an email. Because I've been walking, that's one of the things they say to do is walk, but I didn't know, is there a certain amount I should be doing or can I walk too much? I don't want to do that. And also I wanted to know if I could do some pelvic floor exercises. I'm not having any issues, but I want to just make sure I keep that area strong, So I'm waiting to hear back on that. So right here, I'm going to insert the video where she let me record her showing me the pictures. And so when you're looking at the pictures, think of them like you're looking down, because that's the camera angle. The camera is inside my belly button and it's looking down like this. So it's like you're looking down this way. So just here's your warning that I'm going to insert the video here. It is 48 seconds long, so it's not real long, but here is the video.
All right, so the camera is in your belly button, so the camera is looking down towards your feet, so that's kind of the view that you have, okay? This is your uterus here, but your uterus actually tucks under like this. So this is kind of like the front, the top and the back of it are kind of like tucked into your pelvis, all right? This is your left ovary and your left tube. This is your right ovary and your right tube, and there's a little cyst on it, which is totally benign and very physiologic and appropriate. This is just another picture of the same thing. And then this is a picture of everything when it's done. So this is where your uterus used to be, and that's where the top of the vagina is closed, and then no more tubes, but you see that the ovaries remain and they look real normal. Yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was kind of weird for me. I mean, it's like fascinating and kind of icky at the same time. You don't really want to see the insides, but it was kind of cool to get to see the before and the after and see that I do have my ovaries in there. And that was like the last thing I wanted to just share in this video is some of the videos and things that I read, women were experiencing like their ovaries kind of going to sleep after a surgery. It's like they had to get their blood supply back and all that. And so they were having night sweats and mood swings and a lot of the things that come with that. And then eventually the ovaries started working and everything again. I don't feel like I am experiencing that. I feel normal. I feel like I felt before. I mean, hormonally and all that stuff. I still, like, the other day, my husband was out working in the lawn on the leaves and stuff, and I was watching him working in the lawn, in the yard, and I started feeling like I really, I wish that I didn't have to wait, you know? I'm like, I'm still having feelings like that and stuff. I'm not, of course, can't act on it, but so at least 2 weeks out, I still feel like me. And so I think my ovaries are fine. But anyway, if you can think of any questions or anything you want to know, let me know. I will do another video after I have my 6-week checkup. Unless something strange happens that I feel like to share, I'm just going to keep, for these next 4 weeks, I'm just going to keep doing what she said with listening about the lifting and all that kind of stuff. Not doing it, not straining, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. Monitor the bleeding. Today, for example, I barely have anything coming out at all. So I just need to keep healing. I'm going to be bumping up the protein, doing that kind of thing, and just living life until I go to my next appointment, and then I'll let you know what she says during that. And I told you before, I'll let you know in the future when I finally can be with my husband, what that was like, because I know that's something people want to know, because it's, one of those scary things. But anyway, if you think of anything else, just let me know. If you have gone through this before, if you have any advice for me, or if you had this kind of issue with healing a little slower internally, I'd love to hear your story. But anyway, that's it for now, and I hope I'm helping somebody out there, but I hope you're having a good day. See you next time.